She allegedly gave her 2 young children to her boyfriend and has never been seen since.
The very thing that we actually worry about, it actually happened to us. We can't sleep, we can't eat, we can't do anything but think about her. I don't know what to do. She means the world to the entire family. When I wake up, that's all that's on my mind. When I lay down, I hate to even go to sleep. If anybody has her, please just send her home. Send her home. She has a family that loves her dearly and misses her dearly. Her children need her. Her children need her. If y'all know anything, just please let us know. It don't matter what it is. It don't matter. Just if you see this and you're okay, just call us and let us know. Just anything, baby. We just want you to come home.
On the evening of Sunday, January 30th, 2022, 29-year-old Alexis Ware pulled into the parking lot of a 7-Eleven gas station in Anderson, South Carolina. Alexis had arranged to meet up with her ex-boyfriend, TJ Patterson, so he could take their 2-year-old son, Travell, and their 9-year-old daughter, Naomi. Alexis was running out of gas and barely had enough to make it to the gas station, and TJ had promised to put some gas in her car if she could just make it there. Alexis made it to the 7-Eleven and the 2 parents did their usual swap of the children as they usually did. Alexis got the children settled into TJ's car and then filled up the tank to her red Honda. She then got in the vehicle and turned onto Highway 29, following right behind TJ. But then Alexis did something strange. When they reached the red light ahead, instead of Alexis stopping behind TJ, she suddenly hit the gas. Maneuvering around TJ, she sped off, taking a quick right turn and then disappeared out of sight. So this surprised TJ because Alexis had told him that she was going to meet him at his mother's house. So why would she speed past him like that? Was she in a hurry to get there? But TJ shrugged it off, just thinking that he would ask her about all of this once they met up at his mother. But when TJ got to his mom's house, there was no Alexis. He tried calling her cell phone many times, but there was no answer. And after calling the phone many times, eventually it started going to voicemail. TJ went over his exchange with Alexis at the 7-Eleven in his head. Maybe she said that she was going to meet up with him at her mother's house instead of his mother's. So TJ called Alexis's mom to see if she knew where Alexis was. But Alberta said that she didn't know where she was either. She had spoken to her daughter earlier that day, but at that time, Alexis was home in bed. When TJ explained to Alberta how Alexis had just sped off in her car and disappeared and had not met up with him at his mother's house like the two had planned, Alberta was confused as well. Where was Alexis? But Alexis was a grown woman and her children were with their father, so the family tried not to worry. However, Sunday turned into Monday and then Tuesday came. No Alexis. They kept trying to reach her on her cell phone with all of the calls going unanswered, going straight to voicemail. Now, this worried the family greatly because Alexis was one of those people that always answered her phone. If she would get a call early in the wee hours of the morning, she would still answer. So her not answering her phone greatly worried the family because this was not like her at all. Finally, the family could not wait any longer and they contacted the Anderson County Sheriff's Office and reported Alexis Ware missing. Within 24 hours, Alexis's face was on the local news with a picture of her red Honda. The sheriff's office reached out to neighboring counties asking that their patrol officers keep a lookout for Alexis and her red Honda Accord. And just hours after Alexis's story hit the news, on February 2nd, police in McCormick County received a call about a red car that had been found abandoned on the side of a dirt road. According to the property owner where the car had been found, the car had actually been sitting there for several days. But they had assumed that it belonged to one of the loggers working in the area. It was when they saw the news reports that Alexis Ware was missing and that she had a red Honda that they immediately called it in. And soon the area was flooded with law enforcement. Now, Silcox Road was a logging road, a dirt road surrounded by woods There are no homes there. There are no businesses around. And it came to a dead end just before a muddy creek. No one would drive down that way unless they were familiar with the area. And then even so, no one really drove down that way unless they really had a reason to. But even still, there it was, abandoned on the side of the road, covered in mud, a red Honda Accord with Alexis Ware's license plate. But there was still no Alexis Ware. Officers photographed the scene and inventoried the items that they found, which was Alexis Ware's purse, her keys, a few lottery tickets, her cell phone, and a bag full of clothes. Now, on the ground outside of the vehicle was a black hair bonnet that Alexis had been wearing just 3 days earlier when she met TJ at the 7-Eleven. Search and rescue teams began a grid search of the area around the vehicle, and K9 units also led the search. But there was no sign of Alexis. No sign, no trace, no nothing. The red Honda was eventually impounded and taken back to Anderson County Sheriff's Department. Now, while the car was being processed, investigators began searching for answers. Why had Alexis suddenly sped off without any explanation? How had her car ended up on a dirt road 70 miles away from her hometown of Anderson? And why had she left all of her belongings inside? But most importantly, why hadn't she contacted her family? So the first step for the detectives was to build a profile. If they look deeper into Alexis's life, perhaps they might find some clues that might explain her disappearance. Alexis came from a large, tight-knit family and had friends all over the Greenville-Anderson area. She was a talented hairstylist and had recently begun trying her hand at makeup artistry and fashion. She even had photo shoots and events with clients lined up. Alexis also had aspirations of becoming a model and had recently started beefing up her social media presence. She was posting content frequently and had amassed a pretty good following online. Every picture she posted showed off her curves, her beauty, and her style. She had a large circle of professional and personal connections all the way from Charlotte to Greenville to Atlanta. Had she gone off to meet with a business associate in one of those areas and somehow gotten in trouble? Investigators had to consider every possibility. So detectives sat down with Alexis's immediate family, and together they established a timeline of the week leading up to her disappearance. And what they uncovered would only make this case even more mysterious. So according to Alberta, Alexis's mother, Alexis had recently been preparing for a move to Atlanta. Alexis wanted to go all out with her business. She had gotten approved to break her lease in Greenville so that she could move to Atlanta and open a boutique and a salon. She had already purchased clothing racks and was starting to stock up on merchandise. Alberta said that Alexis wanted to make a better life for her and her children, and she believed that moving to Atlanta was a way to make a fresh new start. Now, Alexis was very happy and excited to be leaving, but there were times that she seemed to be stressed. And in the days leading up to her disappearance, her mother said that she had begun acting strangely, and she had been talking about things that made the family very concerned. During the last weekend in January, the family had all been hanging out in Anderson as they often did, but it was apparent that something was wrong with Alexis. Her family told investigators that during the outing, Alexis was not her usual outgoing self as she usually was. She had seemed guarded and closed off, like there was something freaking her out. Alberta said that Alexis kept talking about her upcoming 30th birthday, but it wasn't in a way like she was excited. Usually when it came time for her birthday, Alexis always made a big deal about her day, getting her outfits ready months before her birthday even came, and would always make huge party plans. She liked to go all out. So of course her family expected nothing less for her 30th birthday. But this time, Alexis seemed to be in a panic. She was saying to her mother and her family members that she didn't think she was going to make it to see her 30th birthday. And now that she was missing, investigators and her family wondered if Alexis knew that something was going to happen to her. Now, even Alexis's brother, Travis Ware, noticed that something was going on with Alexis. He also has a social media presence. He's appeared on reality shows, web series. So while Alexis had kept repeating that she didn't think she was going to make it to see her 30th birthday, Travis also noticed that she was posting cryptic messages on her social media. He said that the type of messages she was posting was not her usual messages. It just didn't seem like her. And then just out of nowhere, she deleted those messages. Alexis's mother told investigators that on Saturday night before she went missing, Alexis had been crying, afraid that something bad was coming. And she sat with her mother that night and just cried. And she wouldn't tell her exactly what was going on. But it was like she knew something was coming. She knew that something was going to happen to her. That's what her mother just felt like. All of the crying and the worrying and the wondering, and just kept saying that she was, panicking, that she wasn't going to live to see her 30th birthday. Her mother just felt like she knew something. Now, Alexis had also expressed that she was being followed. And that entire weekend, her phone just kept ringing with multiple calls coming from the same number. Alexis's mother told investigators that these calls were making Alexis very upset because she did not know how the calls were even still getting through, because apparently she had blocked the number. Her mother had even seen the number on the block list. So they were both concerned as to how this person was still able to get through. And when Alexis's mother asked who this person was, who was the person calling from the number, Alexis's response was the devil. Now, naturally, this concerned Alberta because she was very concerned for her daughter's welfare. I mean, who was this person that she was referring to as the devil? And that was making her so upset that she couldn't even bear to answer the phone. So Alberta had convinced Alexis to stay a little longer in Anderson and not go back to Greenville just yet. And Alexis had agreed to stay. But then Alexis quickly decided to go. So she did her hair, she did her makeup, she put on lashes, and she tried to convince her mother that, she was okay, that she was going to be all right, everything was going to be fine. And because she was looking so pretty and she kind of seemed like back to her normal bubbly self, this convinced Alberta just a little bit that maybe things would be okay. I mean, Alexis was grown, so Alberta felt like she couldn't make Alexis stay. So she tried to find some comfort in just seeing how pretty she was and how she just, she tried to comfort her. Mom, I'm going to be okay. So she let her go back to Greenville. So around noon that Sunday, Alexis left the family and made the 30-mile trip back to Greenville. A few hours later, Alberta called Alexis to see how she was doing, and she FaceTimed her and was able to see that Alexis was home, that she made it home to her apartment, and she was laying down taking a nap. But in the middle of their conversation, Alexis noticed that there was a black truck parked outside of her apartment. So her mother urged her to call the police, to which Alexis did. So once Alexis saw that the police had sent a patrol car, she waited until the patrol car was gone, and then she ran downstairs and got into her red Honda Accord. And at this point, no one knows if she actually left the apartment complex or if she just stayed in the car. But she surfaces again around 4 hours later when she goes to the 7-Eleven to meet TJ and exchange the children. Now, because TJ was the last person to see Alexis Ware, detectives spoke with him at length to see if he knew anything or if he was somehow involved. Now, according to TJ, Alexis called him Sunday evening when she was driving back from Anderson into Greenville, saying that she did not have any gas. He told her that he could make it to the 7-Eleven to meet her and he would give her some gas if she could make it there. Now, it was around 7 p.m. when Alexis pulled into the 7-Eleven. TJ paid for her gas. Alexis put the kids in TJ's car, and then that's when they agreed to meet at TJ's mom's house, but Alexis sped off and was nowhere to be seen after that. So investigators pulled the surveillance video from the 7-Eleven to see if they could verify TJ's story. And when they pulled the surveillance cameras, it was just as TJ said. There was no indication from the footage that they looked at that TJ or Alexis had been arguing at the gas station or that Alexis had been acting strangely. The footage showed Alexis's red Honda Accord leaving the gas station and then speeding past TJ. And TJ's alibi also checked out. So when investigators were questioning TJ, it appeared to them as though he was being genuine and that his story was truthful, so eventually he was cleared as a suspect. So the next step for investigators was to see if they could track Alexis's movements through digital means. The gas station video verified that Alexis had left the 7-Eleven on January 30th shortly after 7 p.m. Her red Honda was next spotted at an apartment complex in Anderson, but no one knew why she would be at that apartment complex. Alberta even went to the apartment complex, knocking on doors, asking residents if they had seen Alexis or if they knew why she would have been there. But everyone said no, they did not know her and they didn't know why she would have been at the apartment complex. At 8:15 p.m., Alexis's cell phone pinged 30 miles south of Anderson in Abbeville, South Carolina. And then later that night, traffic cameras captured Alexis's red Honda Accord crossing state lines into Augusta, Georgia. Then shortly after, they captured her car coming back into South Carolina. Although investigators have not released exact timestamps for that night, what they do know seems to indicate that after stopping by that apartment complex for whatever reason, Alexis traveled south down Highway 29 from Anderson towards Augusta. Now, Alexis's mother later told Dateline in an interview that she remembered Alexis saying that she had to go to the state lottery office that Monday. She was going to the main corporate office, but it wasn't clear if she actually had winning lottery tickets. But she did have lottery tickets, but her mother just didn't know if she was going to the lottery office because she had actually won the lottery. So based on this information, it seems reasonable to assume that Alexis was purposefully headed towards Augusta on Sunday night, likely to check on her lottery tickets that next day. But something caused her to turn around and drive back towards Anderson. And unfortunately, she didn't make it there, with her car being found on the dirt road in McCormick County. Now, the family believes that Alexis knew that she was in danger just days leading up to her disappearance, and that she may have been possibly trying to protect her children from that threat by handing them over to TJ. Now, Alberta told Dateline in her interview that Sunday when she was getting dressed, she was talking about her kids. And she said, "Mom, I have to put my kids first. Lord forbid something happens to me with my kids in the car with me." So when I found out that she had given the kids to TJ, the first thing that came to my mind was that she did what mothers do to protect their children. She felt like there was something wrong. She felt like she was being followed. I feel like when she had hit the gas and sped away from TJ, I feel like she created a separation between her children and herself. She wanted her children out of harm's way. Investigators believe that Alexis may have met with foul play. The fact that all of her belongings and her lottery tickets were left behind in the car suggests that robbery was not a motive for whoever she may have run into that night. And it's extremely unlikely that Alexis would have turned off onto a remote dirt road and then just walked off away from her vehicle, leaving her purse and her cell phone. And one of the most alarming red flags is that Alexis's black hair bonnet was found lying on the ground outside of the car. When she was seen at the gas station, she had the black bonnet on her head. So if the bonnet had fell off of her head, the first instinct for most women would be to pick up the bonnet and put it back on. That right there is a clue to say that there must have been some type of struggle for the bonnet to just be found laying on the ground. Since Alexis disappeared in January of 2022, investigators have conducted extensive searches of the area where her red Honda Accord was found, pulling together search teams from all across the state. But multiple ground, water, and air searches have turned up no sign of Alexis. Detectives from both McCormick County and Anderson County have worked together on this case, exploring every lead and every theory. In March of 2022, however, the FBI joined the case, adding more resources and putting a fresh set of eyes on the case. But time passed, Alexis's 30th birthday came and went, and her family was no closer to getting answers. They refused to let go of their hope, organizing searches of their own, and continued to spread word about Alexis's case. They reached out to Senator Lindsey Graham and South Carolina Attorney General Alan Wilson, requesting more resources for the investigation, and in June of 2022, the Black and Missing Foundation donated a billboard to help bring awareness to Alexis's case. And during the press coverage, her mother spoke to camera saying, "Just putting it out there, it's giving me that hope. It's giving me something to hold on to. I just feel like somebody out there has some information. Somebody knows something, and we just want to keep the light shining." Alexis's case continued to spark conversation, and with social media being what it is today, Ring camera footage surfaced that appears to show Alexis speaking to a neighbor in the apartment complex in which she lived. It is apparent in the footage that Alexis is speaking to the neighbor about an issue that she was possibly having with a male and a female. Take a listen.
I ain't gonna lie, I do like root work and shit like that, but good and bad. I already broke what I needed to do.
Why are you moving?
I just gotta get away. My ex, just everything, the abuse. I'm just tired. And the only way I know I can get away from him, like,
You leaving the state?
yes, I got to. I got to. That's the only way I'm gonna get away from him. Because I don't know, I can read him. I can look in your eyes. I can read you. He didn't realize I've been reading him the whole time. I've been reading.
Talking about the guy that was here.
Yeah.
Oh.
Clients, like, live your life miserable. Trying all the time, trying to please this man, and it's like you really can, you're just trying too hard. So I planned my time, and I said when it was gonna happen, and she announced that she was pregnant, and a month later she was posting this. I ain't even go look. I just knew when it was gonna happen, and I didn't have to go confirm her status or nothing. Her cousin sent this to me.
All right, so take a good look at this image of this young lady in this Ring camera footage. Some people suggest that this is not Alexis Ware. They say the upper body and the lower body does not look like the images that have been released that we know are Alexis Ware. So take a look at the two images and let me know what you think. Do you think that the complexion is the same as the Alexis Ware in the photos that we've seen that are known to be Alexis Ware? And then there is the topic of witchcraft. It seems like in this video, she is suggesting that she has been practicing witchcraft or voodoo, and that she could have possibly put a spell or done some type of witchcraft on the young lady that she's talking about that is pregnant and the boyfriend that is being abusive to her. So drop in the comments and let me know your thoughts. Now, there is a lot of talk about TJ and Alexis being in an abusive, controlling relationship. In a lengthy letter written January 23rd of 2023, Alexis emailed her apartment complex manager, and she detailed alleged abuse at the hands of TJ. She called him abusive, controlling, manipulative, and said that she felt the more she stayed around that he would hurt her. "I feel the more I stay around him, he's going to really hurt me one day. I got to leave, and I'm trying to leave fast and quietly. I need help," Alexis wrote in the email to her complex manager. Now, the email continues with Alexis saying that she was tired of allowing TJ to abuse her in front of her children and that she and her children's lives were more important to her. I'm trying to leave an abusive relationship on all levels. I wasn't strong enough then, but I'm ready now. My life and kids are more important. In the email, Alexis said that she helped TJ with his legal troubles, including spending her savings on him by hiring 2 lawyers and everything else that he had asked of her. She also stated that she spent $50,000 that was saved for her kids. He took everything from me, she said in the email. Now, it is important to note that the police did clear TJ of any wrongdoing. They did clear him as a suspect earlier on. Now, there were fingerprints that were found on Alexis's red Honda Accord, but police have been very tight-lipped about who those fingerprints actually belonged to. Now, there was a girl named Alize that was rumored to be Alexis's friend. And the two of them supposedly ran the streets together, finessed men together, had threesomes with other couples together. They just got into a lot of trouble together. They allegedly were scamming. They were partaking in a lot of illegal activity all throughout the city. Well, this girl said that leading up to Alexis's disappearance, she had seen Alexis, and Alexis had told her that she was leaving and that Alize could have everything in her apartment. And if she did not want the things in her apartment, that she could sell them. She even posted to her social media by saying, I wasn't going to say anything, but when I went to Lex's house on the 20th, she looked at me and said, if anything happens to me, he did it. He loves me to death. These words have been haunting the F out of me, and seeing all these posts not helping. And before y'all jump on my post going crazy, yes, I did share this with the detective over her case. I love you, Lex, and I'm 10 toes with you. So let me know what you guys think about this. There are a lot of twists and turns. There are a lot of unanswered questions, a lot of rumors about the disappearance of Alexis Ware. Some people say that maybe she met foul play. Maybe she had won the lottery, or she had come into some money and, she was unalived for that money. And then some people speculate that she wanted to get away from her abusive, controlling baby's father. And so she actually left the city of Greenville and moved away to start another life. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. I am very interested to know your thoughts. On the 1-year anniversary of Alexis Ware's disappearance, the Anderson County Sheriff's Department renewed their commitment to solving the case. In a press release, they outlined the actions that they had taken so far. To date, multiple agencies have combed through miles of terrain by air support, K9, and cadaver units, and search and rescue teams. Countless hours of interrogating, interviewing, and investigating continue to uncover invaluable information as recently as last week. We unfortunately receive hundreds of false tips that detectives must take time to eliminate. These pranks not only waste resources, but give the family a helpless feeling. We appreciate any concrete, factual information from the community and ask for compassion toward Alexis's family. Now, the lead detective, Jason Fowler, told the state, I remain positive, and it's my hope and belief that Alexis is alive. It's important for me to work every day to locate her and bring her safely home to her children. Alexis Ware was last seen on January 30th, 2022 at the 7-Eleven gas station on Highway 29 North in Anderson, South Carolina. At the time of her disappearance, she was wearing jeans, a purple shirt, black jacket, black Crocs, and a black hair bonnet. She has dimple piercings and multiple tattoos, including a feather on one hand and a cheetah pattern on her shoulder. Alexis is 5 feet 5 inches tall and weighs between 215 to 230 pounds. Although Alexis disappeared nearly 2 years ago, her family still holds out hope that she is alive, and someone out there may be holding information that could possibly bring Alexis home. If you are that person, or if you know someone that may know about Alexis's disappearance or her whereabouts, we urge you to contact the Anderson County Sheriff's Office at 864-260-4405 or submit a tip through Crime Stoppers at 1-888-CRIME-SC. Well, guys, that's it for this video. Like this video, share this video, but most importantly, be sure to subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.